welcome to Three Chords and the Truth. Can't believe this is almost the end. We've only got, what, Chris, a couple more shows, I think? Two more? One more? Something like that. But anyway, yeah. We're back again and having a great time as always. I'm Pete Kramer. I'm your host. As always, I got to throw in a plug for my friends Bev and Lynn and Peggy from Special Spaces. They do bedroom makeovers for kids with cancer. They do amazing work, and they work only off of donations. And if you look at their things that they post online, I just saw something that they did for a kid the other day, and just to even think of these little kids with terminal cancer and stuff like that, it's horrible enough, but they just try to spread a little bit of joy. So if you're so inclined, go to Special Spaces, click on Bev and Lynn are in Buffalo, Peggy's in Boca Raton, and again, they rely on donations and whatever you can do to help them out. As always, my website, eastwoodprojectmusic.com. We just uploaded a few more new songs the other day, which kind of cool. We're starting off I think it's our sixth album next week that we're going to start putting some more new stuff, all original. We don't do any covers. And I'll be at Bloomfield's on Saturday night, 7 to 10. Got a whole bunch of my good friends in there playing with us. We've got Gary Poncho, Kelly Zeckman, Alex Nobles, and Tom that owns Bloomfield's is always an amazing host. He makes everybody feel very welcome. It's a cool place. It's a cool venue for live local music. And a lot of my friends, including this guy over here, plays there every once in a while. And with all that out of the way, I'd like to introduce this week's guests, Marty Milbrand and his lovely wife, Diana. Marty is the frontman for Nashville North, and they've kind of taken over the local country music live venues by storm in the last, it's less than a year. When with all that being said, I think I should shut up, but thank you. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
And part of the theme that Marty wanted to do, and we're going to get into that in a minute, but is what it's like to be the wife of a working musician. Mm-hmm. And we'll dump on that in a minute, but I want to talk about you guys came out of nowhere. I mean, we've known each other for a bit because of your affiliation with the Noblemen for, what was that, about 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, about 4 years.
Okay. And then and it was an amicable split when they busted up the Noblemen because they all had different interests in what they wanted to do. Alex now is working with, the Dakota brothers, Alex and Gary, but Marty went in a different direction, and you're mostly country, are you not?
Yes.
That's your gig, right? Country music?
Yeah, I would say we're probably 75% country. We'll throw the Southern rock and classic rock in because I enjoyed doing that with the Noblemen, and the other bandmates enjoy that kind of music too, so it's just easy, and the crowds love it. So,
but when did you start Nashville North?
I started Nashville North. It started as a duo with Alex.
With Alex, right, right.
Back when we were in the Noblemen, I just wanted to kind of get out, do some more acoustic stuff, get more comfortable playing and singing. And then when the band split, I ended up taking that name and kind of piecing it together at the start of last year. So like January, February, I started my search for players, and went through a couple tryouts and things not working out until we found the right people.
Yeah, well, that's always important.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
So we kind of got off to the races, started really practicing in like March, April with the core group. And
of last year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 2023. I actually was approached by a bike night up in Wilson that wanted us to play their beer tent. And by us, I mean the Noblemen.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I'm not with that band anymore. And, I'm getting a new band together if you guys are interested in that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to be until August. So I'm like, oh, we got plenty of time. Little did I know. Starting a band, you hit a lot of hiccups, and it ended up coming down to 3 practices a week to really cram in and get ready for that gig. And
Did you know the guys you were playing with?
Musically, no, not at first.
Okay.
I know my lead guitarist because we worked together up in Lockport. Met the other ones on Facebook. We have a fiddle player, and she actually found us. I posted on Facebook looking for a guitarist and bass player, and she's like, "Oh, I see you're like doing a country rock thing. I'm classically trained in violin. I want to get into more fiddle and stuff, and I've never been in a band before, so I'd like to,
That's sweet.
and yeah,
That's really
have
sweet.
a fiddle player fall in your lap in Western New York."
Yeah, exactly.
That's the kind of stuff that happens down in Nashville.
Right, exactly. Man,
Yeah.
that's really cool. I mean, I remember one time I was looking for a drummer, and I put an ad on Craigslist because it was a big deal at the time.
Mhm.
But I wound up meeting John Martin over that. John and I have become very good friends for, God, I think it's like 15 years now, which is also where I met Larry. So it was one of those things where we just started playing, we instantly clicked. But that doesn't happen with everybody,
Yep.
as I'm sure you went through those trials and tribulations of putting this band together.
Yeah, it was a slow roll at first, just kind of getting the musical chemistry and stuff. I knew just from hearing everybody's abilities that they could play.
Yeah.
It's just getting everybody to play together.
Right.
And, you got to go through painstaking hours. You got to go through picking the songs and everything. And
yeah, that's a big deal.
Obviously, coming out of the Nobleman, I knew songs that worked. And I was like, oh, yeah, let's do this. And kind of forgot at first that, there's other people in the room that need to have an input as well. So we started, incorporating their thoughts and trying to find our identity and what do we want to do and what's the cutoff, like how hard of rock do we want to do mixed in with this, like where are our boundaries, basically.
Yeah.
So
did you do the gig in Wilson?
We did.
How'd it come off?
I've played better.
No, I don't mean it that way. I mean, how did the crowd receive you?
The crowd was fine.
Crowds can be very forgiving.
They were very nice. We heard before the gig even started that, being a beer tent and a bike night, a lot of the bikers don't drink a lot. So a lot of them leave pretty early. So we knew that by halfway through the gig, it was going to thin out a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
I would have thought the bikers would.
Yeah, you don't want to mix alcohol with
Hellraisers.
Two wheels.
No, I get that.
No. But no, I mean, we got it done, and I was tremendously proud of everybody's efforts. I mean, when you ask people in a cover band to bust 3 rehearsals a week for the last month leading up to that gig, I mean, we were busting our tails, really trying to get it together. And I mean, we were doing 4-hour rehearsals just to play through all of the songs and make sure that, everything was polished.
That's a lot of
and
work,
everything.
Man.
And yeah. It was a hellish, gruesome time, but we pulled it off. Schedule cooled down immediately after that. We only had we did Tonawanda Porch Fest at my house.
Yeah.
And that was a way more laid back gig. We played way better because we already had those first gig jitters out of the way. I wish the first gig wasn't such a big stage.
Right.
But I looking back, I really wouldn't change anything because it led us to where we are now.
Yeah. Because all of a sudden, I mean, like you guys are playing almost every weekend.
Yeah.
That's a nice problem to have.
I have to pay my wife in food and drinks and cuddles and attention for her to let me get away with that.
Now, when it comes to, because I'm a little bit of a different breed, because when we get together with my band, they're all originals. And typically I write probably 95% of the songs. So when we get together, it's like, okay, what do we got this week? What are we going to do? And I'll just sit there and play it for them on acoustic guitar and stuff like that. And then we all put our heads together. And then when I play out, that's when I do the covers. So when I pick the covers, I pick the covers. So when you're in a cover band situation, how do you come up with your sets? Do you vote on it? Do y'all have a say?
Every band's a little bit different. I mean, I
don't care about every other band. I care about your band.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's why I wanted you here.
So the way we handle it, and like it took us a while to kind of figure out where we were going to be with that. I've got a song suggestion sheet a mile long.
Okay.
From everything that any band member or patrons out at the gigs, anybody has thrown at me. I make a list of all these songs so I don't forget them because they were brought up for a reason. You know? So it's kind of my job to sift through those, and my bandmates trust me enough to pick what I think is going to work when. So like, you know, winter gigs, we do a little bit more of mixing in the classic rock and stuff, whereas country gigs, summer gigs, you want to load up on the country songs, like the big drinking good time party songs, because you're playing outside and it just feels more country.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's finding a balance and everything. So like, you know, my band members, I got Matt on drums, Chris on guitar, Kat on fiddle, and Tony on bass. So like, I might take 3 songs and I'll pick one of my suggestions, one of Chris's, and one of Kat's. And then the next time I pick 3 songs, I might pick one of Matt's, Tony's, and a patron pick.
Diplomatic.
Yeah. So like, I try and mix it up and stuff.
Yeah.
I also try and keep a pulse on what's current.
Yeah,
because like back with the Noblemen, we didn't dabble a lot with the current stuff because it wasn't our crowd.
Yeah.
This time around,
I don't know if it's anybody's crowd anymore. Country is more everybody's crowd now.
Well, I mean like current country, like the big radio country hits today. You got your Luke Combs, your Morgan Wallen, a lot of stuff that I didn't even really listen to a lot.
Yeah.
But we're getting a lot more younger people, like a lot of mid-20s to 40 coming out to these gigs, line dancing, stuff like that. And, you know, country's booming right now, the biggest it has since the 90s.
Yeah, and some of the country stuff, I'm not going to lie, I've said this before. I mean, rock and roll from, you know, my age was the big deal. And I turn on some country songs right now, and it's like, this is like rock and roll was. You know, it's like country. Rock and roll got shoved over into the country category for new stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk to this lovely lady over here, because this is the reason that we started to talk about this. Marty and I were talking about this.
Enough about me.
Well, but I wanted to get the story in case anybody that's watching this doesn't know who you are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, let them know what's going on with you, who you are, and where you're playing and things like that. But
I might be the front man, but she's kind of my front man. Like she takes care of she really takes care of a lot of the stuff behind the scenes that nobody really notices. I mean, other bands that have come out to see us have noticed and commented on it. So I'll let her tell you what she does.
Please do.
No.
Please do. Diana, please let us know.
I'm used to not being in the front.
That's all right.
Yeah. No, it started out was when he was in Nashville Nobleman. I would take pictures, which Jess, as you know, she gladly gave me the reins of that. She's like, go ahead, take all the pictures you want. Because I'm a creative person. I like to kind of do artsy stuff. So I'm like, I'll take pictures. It'll keep me busy during the gigs. And then that kind of really snowballed. And then I got limited by my camera phone. I'm like, well, let me try this. He has a DSLR camera. So trying that out. And I actually took photography classes as well.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to give a shout out to Locust Street Art. It's amazing. They do free classes for photography, painting, ceramics.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Where are they located?
On Locust Street, right in downtown Buffalo.
Oh, in Buffalo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And photography teacher Nick Butler, he's amazing. Like he I don't know, don't want to bore you, but he showed me how to use every single thing on the camera.
But it works for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. So, so that's obviously increased. And then, when they were doing sound check, I would always be the person in the crowd kind of giving the hand signals. And he eventually said, you know what, why don't you just take the tablet and
Really?
yeah,
Mhm.
and do it that way.
So you're doing the sound now.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Wow.
basically had her do the hand signals for a good while just so I could kind of tell where her ear was. Like, I was noticing that she was picking out more fine details and stuff. And rather than me, run into the back of the stage
No,
to
that's
mess
horrible
with the
to do.
mixer and stuff,
Mhm.
being the front man, I'm supposed to be up front talking to people
Yeah.
and interacting and not ducking back by the drummer and fiddling with stuff. So I was happy to offload that.
So you're kind of the manager? Am I reading that right?
Not his, not the band's.
That is fair.
I don't claim to manage the whole band.
Mhm.
How's the
Just
band
him.
feel about all this?
I mean, they
Yeah.
haven't said anything mean yet. They seem to enjoy
Well,
it.
Who could
They
say
like
anything
the
mean to you?
pictures.
No, they love it. They've encouraged her to, like, Chris is the youngest member in the band. He's mid-20s. So, like, he's real big on, like, Instagram and stuff. Like, he knows how all of that pulse works.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Facebook guy. So he's like, yeah, maybe we need more, like, lighting in the front for the pictures, stuff like that. Like, just giving kind of his input on the photography aspect and stuff. And then her and I will research it and come up with a solution and see how it works, and we'll workshop things.
But it worked,
But
right?
they comment all the time. Like, a huge part of our success definitely comes from the pictures she's taken. She takes pictures of the patrons that are out at our gigs, which creates the FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And people, want to be a part of the party, a part of the fun. So they want to get out there. They want to get their picture taken. And
That's what music's all about, is
yeah.
having fun.
Yep.
Mhm.
Do you ever have any of the people in the crowd come up and talk to you?
All the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the time. They're usually, because they see me doing all the random stuff.
Yeah.
So they'll come up to me and they'll, like, either they're looking to book a gig or they just want to find out. I actually find out all the cool stories that I get to tell him later in the night. Which is very...
Bar patrons have really cool stories, by the way.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
I know. And I love hearing them all. But even a brief one was they had played a gig in Lockport at Attitudes the one night and then the following night at Chops. And the woman at Chops was telling me the story of how her son was at Attitudes the night before. He happens to live above it. And he heard the band. He's like, wow, they're great. Came down. And they announced, hey, we're going to be at Chops the next night. And his mother apparently lives there. So he told his mom, you got to see this band. Go out to the gig, see
Wow.
this band.
Mm-hmm.
And she's telling me this story. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, thank you for coming. And then the end of the night, she's dancing on the bar.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. We even had two 12-year-olds that became big fans. And the mom was telling
Yeah.
me all about it. And it's really cool, like, to hear
Really?
their stories. And
What other random things you got, if
I
any?
think. I say the two 12-year-olds is pretty cool. Like, they were so excited. Like, they were almost, it was like he was Taylor Swift. It was...
She's been invited on, like, girls' trips from patrons.
I'm still trying to catch you as a Taylor Swift, though. That's...
Oh, yeah, no.
Wait, what?
So the girls were acting like you were Taylor Swift.
Oh,
like they were
yeah.
so excited.
Nice.
Yeah,
Which is-
we had Swiftie energy
Yeah.
going on at the last gig.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That was
But
pretty
then,
wild.
yeah, and usually, like, if they want to book a gig and stuff, like, I'll direct him back to him. And if I happen to notice that there's other bands in the crowd or whoever, like people that we know, like,
Yeah.
I'll tell him during the break, like, hey, go see this person. Go talk to this
Oh, yeah.
person.
Yeah, and that's something cool too, because you mentioned because I know Attitudes is in Lockport, and I forget the name of the other place.
Chop Shop.
Chop Shop.
In Gasport.
You get into some of these outlying areas, and forgive me, but some of the people are so different than in the metro area, because there's so many places, there's so many bands, and you get into some of these outlying areas, and there's not that many places, and the people genuinely have a different reaction
Mhm.
To things, just because they I can walk over 2 blocks and I get to this place and go to this place, and
Yeah.
no, they're there for the night. They're there for a good time, and they enjoy the hell out of what your band or whatever band is there is doing. And
On the
just
outskirts, you get those blue collar workers, man.
yeah,
You play a Friday night at some rinky dink little bar out in the country, and these people want to forget their work week.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you got to travel for those really fun gigs out there, and then other times you play a place like Diamond Hawk, where it might not be as country of a crowd, but they get country music lovers just the same for their country nights. And you got Jillian Lillian up there doing the line dance instructions, and they just want to come out and have a good time just like anybody. And doesn't matter if you're blue collar, white collar, country, city, anybody can have a good time.
That line dancing thing still baffles me, because I've never, until I saw you guys in the Nobleman and had the instructor up there showing people how to do the line dancing and stuff like that. And I thought that went out in the early 80s when, the whole urban cowboy thing was going on. And come to find out, I was wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wrong about a lot of things often. But
I was surprised to find out in the past few years how much pop music is being incorporated into line dancing. Like you got Shawn Mendes, Pitbull, T-Pain, Nickelback, and like people go up to the stage and they got DJ Ice up there when West Lamarck isn't playing, and I mean he'll play all kinds of rap, hip hop, pop, and they got line dances for him.
That's
yeah.
I don't know. That's wild to me. Correct me if I'm wrong, because isn't there the one thing I went and said is at Depew Fireman's Park? There was a lady that was teaching people how to line dance. Did that have something to do with WYRK possibly, or am I thinking of something different?
I don't know.
There was somebody that was in there that was, because I remember that one street was blocked off over there in Depew, and there's this lady out there with a whole bunch of people, and she's showing them what to do and how to.
I wonder if that was in 2023 when the Noblemen were still finishing up some gigs without me.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I just, like I said, the whole line dancing phenomenon was.
I feel like I remember Alex mentioning something about that, though. Even when I wasn't playing with them, he'd still fill me in and we'd recap, music.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of cool that, you guys still are, good friends and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
You think about so many times where you got creative differences and stuff, and, or it doesn't even have to be a, tete-a-tete or anything like that. It's just, okay, this ain't working out, and you just go your separate ways. Whereas that didn't happen with you guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously any breakup is tough at first, but, if you're meant to work through it, you're meant to work through it. And, Alex is like family to me. All the Noblemen are like family to me. Like, still see Carson on the regular. And we went to see Terry's new band, Splitting Rails.
Carson's an anomaly to me.
We run into
that guy
Gary every now and then.
I was at your gig at Bloomfield's about a year ago, I think it was. And I'd only met Carson one time prior to that. And doesn't he come over and sit right next to me at the bar? And now you're up there playing and you're talking to everybody. You're announcing everybody in the bar that, is a player or a singer or whatever. And Carson was the first one to go up and play. And he comes back over and sits next to me. He's like, I think I know you. I said, yeah, well, we've met. I said, you did an amazing job up there, though, because he came up. He didn't end up playing guitar very long.
Yeah, no.
But
no.
I don't think he played guitar that night. I think you did.
No, you just sang
together.
Yeah. Yep.
But that kid, man, I've seen him play drums. I've never seen anybody beat the crap out of a drum kit the way that he does. I mean, he's like almost.
He's the
like
Buffalo Bonham.
Oh yeah, I mean, like he's an animal, man, and
Yeah.
but he gets every note that he wants, every beat that he wants. He knows where to get it, and he gets it, man.
Oh yeah. And I mean, to kind of circle back, like when we were starting out with Nashville North and starting practicing and stuff, I had one drummer who was just kind of overcommitted to different projects and stuff, and he had to back out, and we didn't have a drummer, and it's impossible to learn new songs as a new band without a drummer.
Yeah.
Like that's your metronome.
Yeah.
And we're searching for a drummer. I think we tried out like 3 different ones, but during the time that we were searching, I had Carson come and fill in on drums.
Oh, really?
Yep. He would just come over to my house for rehearsal and just
as a friend.
sit behind the drum set, keep us in time.
Yeah. Nice guy.
Everybody in the band knows him, loves him. We had to replace a bass player. We had Alex learn bass for one of the gigs. My friend Mark Woodworth and Sam Tamby, both with bands of their own. Mark's in Love Underground, and then Samuel is Samuel Tamby band.
Yeah.
But great bands, by the way.
But I don't know. Like I said, Carson, I had him. Alex didn't know when I had Alex on the show a couple weeks ago. I didn't know he didn't know that I had Carson come over and surprise him. I don't know if I saw that one or not. But so anyway, we're getting way too much off of under the testosterone thing. We're forgetting about the fact that we're talking about Diana right now. Do you
Us music guys could talk shop for hours.
Wow, that's
They
like that's
she
like
listens to me talk for hours.
that one video on Facebook. It's like, oh my God, you've got musicians, and the guy's like an exterminator. You didn't feed him, did you? 'Cause it happens that way. But anyway, do you book gigs? What else do you do for the band?
I don't typically book. I'll like talk to people about it and kind of give them as much information, but I always kind of redirect them back to Marty because he's got to communicate with everybody. I line dance. I don't do instruction because I'm terrible with my left and right, but I will be out there line dancing.
Do you dig the line dancing?
Oh, I've been doing it forever.
Have you really?
Yeah, I actually got him doing it now.
Really?
Yeah, we actually go to, there's everywhere. Like he mentioned Jillian Lillian at the stage. I found out that there's line dancing at the Cowboy, Best Buffalo, and we go to Dome Stadium in Tonawanda.
Oh, okay.
And our friend Christian actually does the line dance instruction, and he's up to like what? You're up to like 7 songs now, line dance.
7 or 8 dances.
Really?
I'm learning.
Good for you.
I always tell him he's got to move around more, so this move around.
So you made him do it, right?
Yeah, of
I have
course.
a dream. I have a dream of being able to do a couple like simple line dance steps while playing the guitar on stage, like during one of Chris's solos or something. I don't think I'm going to be able to.
Someday.
It's hard enough playing and singing at the same time, let alone dancing like actual steps and keeping a rhythm.
Couldn't imagine doing that.
Carson probably could.
Well, yeah, but he's
Superman.
He's not of this earth.
Right.
But anyway, what else do you do for the band? I mean, I'm sure that there's different things other than teaching him how to line dance.
I don't know, I'm trying to think.
Do you pick out his clothes for him?
No, there's like a conversation of like, what should I wear? Should I wear this? But it's not like.
Do you argue or do you discuss things?
We usually discuss it.
Okay.
Well, if there's too many gigs, it might go up to argue, but communication is very important. Very,
she
very
keeps
important.
us in check.
Yeah, Google Calendar does amazing things. But yeah, there's a lot of. But I don't do the bookings or anything else.
At Buffalo Irish Center, she was actually running sound from the tablet while line dancing.
Well, when people ask you to dance, you gotta dance.
It was the first song of the night, and I just see her out there, tablet in hand, doing all the line dancing steps. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Multitasking, man.
Yeah.
No, but no, I got to believe that the rest of the band really appreciates the things that you do, up to and including making sure that he looks good. But
Yeah, but it's I like doing it. Like I like country. I grew up with country music. I grew up line dancing. So
The next thing I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
I mean, to you personally, I mean, do you just go because Marty likes this, or what's your favorite flavor of music?
yeah, I would say it's we actually got set up because, well, not just because we like country music, but it was actually by Jess set us up.
Jess Nobles.
Yes. And so she knew that we both had this like common thing that we really like country music.
Okay.
So it's natural. Like it's not like, I mean, sometimes it might be like, oh, there's another gig, but I like going out. I work from home, so I'm stuck at home. So I'm like, I don't mind going out.
Oh, good for you.
And like going out and dancing. I'm like, sure, this is fun for me. It's not like a job. So it keeps me busy.
And for you, do you consider this to be a job? I mean, I know you enjoy doing what you do.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I get that. Is there a point where it comes to be like, oh man, I just want to just like lay down and take a nap?
Honestly, like
People don't realize sometimes how much we go through to put a gig together.
it's a ton of work.
Yep.
But nothing beats like, I mean, you forget all the stuff that you put into it when you're up on stage
Of course.
performing and people are singing along and dancing and going wild, and asking for encores, stuff like that. Like you forget that you showed up 2 hours before the gig to set everything up. You forget that you have to spend an hour tearing it all down, packing up the truck, drive home, unload it all back into the house.
Yeah.
Like you forget about the painstaking hours of practice and, canvassing different places to get gigs and calling and pestering places. And you honestly forget all of that when you're playing. I mean, I'm sure you know that too.
I do, but I also think that, sometimes people don't realize how much work that you just itemized everything,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah, man.
And
all
people
there.
don't
And that's
realize
half of
that
it.
we do all that. And there's a
Yeah.
lot to that.
Yeah.
And it's there's sometimes that there's people that like last week on the show I was talking to JC Thompson about the same thing. It's like it's expected. Well, how many people are you going to bring in? Well, I don't know. I don't have any control over who might come see me.
Mhm.
And they were like, and this one, I'm going back 20 years ago, so I don't even know if the guy's still in business, but he said to me, he says, I don't care if you're the goddamn Beatles. If you don't sell beer for me, I got no use for you. And
That's
that's,
what my fiddle player says too, and my drummer. We're beer salesmen.
yeah.
That's what we are.
Yep. And it shouldn't be that way because, there's a lot of work that goes into okay, this is a private conversation that Marty and I had before we went on the air, but
Which one?
No. I'm not going into that. But if you need a plumber, right? A plumber has to, learn his trade and how, I don't know, what do you go through a year trade school, something like that? You buy your tools,
At least.
and you're out there, making $75 an hour. We don't do that.
Mm-mm.
It takes a long time to learn the music, to learn how to sing, to learn how to play whatever instrument it is that you're playing. And, I don't know about you. I mean, I've been doing this a hell of a lot longer than you've been alive. And I'm still not done learning yet.
It's ever changing. And honestly, like it presents new challenges and stuff. Like when you're
all the time,
when you're first starting a band, I would say that, yes, it is kind of like a job because you're not seeing the results yet. And you're putting all this work in and it can get frustrating. I mean, that's when you see a lot of true colors from the people that you got in the room with you.
Yeah.
You're putting all these hours and hours and hours in and not seeing any results yet because you can't gig because you don't have enough songs.
Right.
And, you start seeing how people handle it and you just work together, work through it. And then once it becomes a rhythm, for lack of a better word, no pun intended.
No, I get it.
But once it becomes like that rhythm, that second nature, it's not a job anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we show up early to gigs to set up the whole sound system and what used to be a long job, setting everything up, now becomes a short job, and we can go and shoot the crap with the bartenders and talk to patrons that are showing up early. And
Yeah, you need
like,
that synergy with your band.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we're just about close to being finished here, but I'll do the whole big interview with Dan Rather thing. Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you wanted me to ask you? Because I'm directing that to you
To me?
because, yes, because he and I talk too much because that's usually the way that we do things.
Mhm.
The show is supposed to be about you.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know.
Supportive wife. Tell more wives to be supportive.
Well, but I will say, no, I'm not. No, do not put me in a trap, Pete. No. So
I tried.
I will say we don't have kids, so it's much easier for me to do it because I don't want any, wives to come after me. Thanks.
No. I didn't mean it that
But
way.
no,
Even
there are a
close.
lot of supportive wives. You're just telling me about Ronnie.
Yes, Ronnie is the same way. Ronnie is absolutely the same way. And it's just, and it doesn't have to be a wife. It's just to know that you've got the support from somebody that loves you. It doesn't even need to be your partner. It might be your kids. It might be your mom and dad. It could be anybody. The support is a whole mental thing, and it really helps you out a lot when you're going through these things. But no, I don't know. I think what you're doing is great. I applaud your success that you've got going on, and again,
we've been blessed.
The to know that you've got the support from somebody as cool as her that does the work, that's not afraid to roll up her sleeves and just get into the weeds and just do it.
Yep. She definitely, like I said, she's a main factor in our success, and just super grateful to have her. Super grateful to have the musicians that I have, and
their spouses too.
Yep, their spouses are great. But even more importantly, the people that have circled around the band, the patrons and stuff that are following us,
without them
coming out.
Right?
I mean, we've been so fortunate. Like, we joke all the time, like, we've never played to a half-empty bar yet as the Nashville North Band.
Great.
So, super fortunate. Just want to keep that going and see where it takes us.
All right. Before we kill things, what do you got coming up this weekend, or anything big over the summer that you got?
This weekend belongs to my wife. We are camping with her family at Red Rock Pond out in Holly, but we're back at the music thing out at Attitudes in Lockport on May 25th.
But I'm sure when you go camping, you'll be bringing a guitar with you.
Yeah, that usually happens.
Yeah, sometimes. Or he's at least in charge of the music.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, well, anyway, it's been great talking with Marty and Diana Milbrand from Nashville North. Marty's the front guy over there. She's the backbone. You got to have the front and the back. That's pretty cool. I'll be at Bloomfield's on Saturday at 7:00. Come see us. And next week we have Patsy Cristofanelli and Dottie Kenny, the Patsy and Donnie show. That's going to be a riot because these two ladies are crazy. I've had them on before, and it's a laugh a minute, and you never know what the hell's going to happen, but it's always a good time. So anyway,
you're going to have to take the middle seat next week.
I might have to, or they might eject me. I have no idea. They might take the whole thing over. That's how crazy they are. But
we'll be watching.
Again, we got Marty, Diana Milbrand, Nashville North. I'm Pete Kramer. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next week. And 3 Chords of the Truth. We're out. Don't forget Christian Dreschel over here running everything for us because he's the man that makes everything work.
Speaking of backbone.
Absolutely.